Time for one of my favorite picks in the entire draft. That's Jermaine Burton going to the Cincinnati Bengals. I love this pick. I think that this is a guy who can immediately kind of slot into a Tyler Boyd role and be kind of an underneath player, but also can kind of take the top off of defenses a little bit. He's a really good route runner. I really like his footwork quite a bit. And putting him in Cincinnati gives him a year to develop. I love that for him. And then he can really explode next year whenever T. Higgins is off this roster and Jamar Chase gets paid a bunch of money. He can be the number two, and he can have Chase still taking that pressure off of him. I think he can be something in year one. So he's kind of a late round two guy in a rookie draft, but I think he's really more something in year two, though, for sure. He's a real good early candidate for a year two breakout, potentially. Looking too far ahead, potentially in the future with that. You never know. But I think in year one, he's going to need an injury in front of him to be too fantasy relevant. But in year two, the sky could absolutely be the limit for Jermaine Burton. Roman Wilson to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not in love with this one, but it makes a lot of sense, right? He fits the offense pretty well. You know, he can be that number two who kind of does a little bit of everything, kind of the short yardage option as well, while you got George Pickens going deep for the Steelers. The problem I have with this, though, is he's the number two wide receiver option for an Arthur Smith coached offense, and with Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, either one, I'm not expecting much relevance in year one out of the wide receiver two in the offense. So that definitely has me worried about Roman Wilson quite a bit. I just don't really see how it plays out well for him this year. I think he's definitely a guy in a rookie draft to be a practice squad guy, a round three pick in your rookie draft. I put him at the 302 is kind of where I pencil him in right now. I'm just not in love with it. I don't even love the player, quite frankly. I'm not a huge Roman Wilson guy, but even still, I just don't see the path for year one. So Jalen McMillan going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like the fact of prioritizing the third receiver in Tampa Bay. It reminds me a little bit of Burton, Jermaine Burton going to the Cincinnati Bengals, in that it may take a year or two for him to really kind of hit a spot. Quite frankly, Chris Godwin kind of went through this, actually, where it took a minute for Godwin to get a role in the offense in Tampa Bay. I think that'll be the case for McMillan. I think he's a really good target to put on your practice squad in round three. I've got no problem with that. However, my hopes for year one just aren't really there for Jalen McMillan. In the final wide receiver of round three, Luke McCaffrey going to the Washington Commanders. You know, I wasn't a big Luke McCaffrey guy. I thought he'd be a bit of a later pick. I didn't think he'd sneak his way into round three like he did at the very end of that round. It's just not a great fit, though, for fantasy purposes. I'm going to give this one a D because it's a slot receiver for a probably pretty run-heavy offense. I don't know how much they're going to be in three wide receiver sets, quite frankly. Rookie quarterback who's a run-first quarterback as well. I think he's going to help the Washington offense quite a bit. I just don't see it really, though, for fantasy purposes. So the question for you guys is, who is your favorite round three wide receiver this year, and what are your expectations? I think for me, my favorite among this group is probably Malachi Corley because of the immediate impact I think he can get. In year two, though, for these guys, projecting ahead a little bit, I love what I could get out of Jermaine Burton. I think him in Cincinnati could be really electric. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who's your favorite receiver in this round three?